So we got the patch update. You guys have probably seen that, but just in case, we'll touch on the cards, how they've changed. More importantly, we got some leaked changes to some cards that might affect how you're going to handle your spotlights in September. So we'll dive into that too. What else changed? The first and probably biggest change that we've got, you see my cursor moving around here? See it? See how it's nice and big and black and gray? Okay, anyway, they changed that, so that's cool if you're on Steam.
Cool story, Hansel.
They've also adjusted the cost of items in the Conquest shop. This was to be expected a little bit because last season it was 5 weeks, this one's 4. Looking over these, they're obviously more expensive than the initial 4-week seasons, but we knew that was sort of in a test. They were trying to figure things out. Looking these over, I don't see anything that sort of jumps off the page at me that says that's a problem. Let me know in the comments below if you see any of these that just seem way off base. I do like the Wolverine anime card that you get. Obviously, Thor, Wolverine. Am I going to play it though? Sadly, I don't know if I love it that much. We're going to go over the card changes then and a couple other changes you might have missed. Obviously, they talked about the multi-grade function. We're going to show that in game in a second. The new feature with the upgrading of gold for cards, we'll show that as well. And an improved avatar selection flow. Tapping on the avatar in the main menu will now bring up the avatar selection screen, allowing you to change your current deck's avatar quickly. That could be helpful. We'll see how that works out. And anybody who hates those red dots, we're going to love this next one. When you have an upgradable card in your collection and choose not to upgrade it, it's going to be marked as red. That way it's no longer going to increase that red dot notification count. This went live in their last patch, but they didn't mention it, so you've already felt that. So here we have a variant we could upgrade multiple times. We've got 1,288 boosters. So it goes +6 here, legendary. Let's see what you click plus. So it just shows how much it's taking here, which is nice. Now you can only bring it up to infinity, but it shows you exactly how many credits and how many boosters you're going to use from your lot, which honestly is awesome. So you click this, it's going to upgrade just straight to infinity, which honestly is awesome. I love every second of that. Let's see, it should go, you click again, it'll go to the ladder. It goes +24. So it just goes through all of those all at once, which honestly, how much better is that? Because I know before,
I like it.
That was just a serious pain. But now we can just claim what we want in here. I do wish they'd get the UI a little bit cleaned up in here so I could just find just my spotlights. Little upgrade to the base card. A little foil finish and gold tone flare to that one. And again, if I want to upgrade this all the way to infinity, take those out. 31, click it. I just sit here, go straight to infinity. I think this is a huge quality of life time saver. Gigantic thumbs up to Second Dinner on this one. I know we like to complain a lot about things, but things like this and quality of life are huge. This normally would take a lot of time. I mean, just look at that. It just goes through and it's just like solid. And then one of the other features that they've added is the option to go ahead and pay for gold to get some additional boosters. In case you're a little short, you go ahead and pay gold. I haven't done any math on this, but I'm guessing this is probably not the best use of your gold, but if you're desperate, it's there for you. Probably more for whales. And again, I'm always a big fan of anytime that happens so that we can get cheaper things elsewhere in game. We've got the graphic from Corrales from over at Marvel Snap Zone. Big giant shout out to him for putting these together. Fantastic work over there. Definitely check that out. So the cards, we've got cable changed. The biggest thing here is instead of put the bottom card on your opponent's deck into your hand, it draws the top card of your opponent's deck. You can freeze and look at the script that they've got below, but the long and short of this is just trying to avoid getting America Chavez and getting a little bit different cards. So cable can be a little bit more in play. I think a thumbs up to this one. Good change. They talked about Magic recently and making this change. The long and short of this is that you can now play Magic on any turn. It's just not going to work after turn 5, which honestly is huge. I always got really frustrated by not being able to at least be able to play her. Big thumbs up. They mentioned this with Mr. Negative as well previously. The thing is that they're just going to cap the cost anytime this works at 6, similar to what happens with Peak. I'm assuming this primarily happened with like Jane Foster decks. I never personally experienced this, but it makes sense. Cap the cost at 6. You don't want your card coming in at 8. It's like, well, I can't play this with Jane. The only card that's higher than that is Death, but you're able to bring that down. Another change that they mentioned previously was Rogue. This one now triggers on reveals if the copied ongoing card had one. There's no text change. This is just a change in game. So you're thinking about cards like, let's see, Electro. Now, do you want to do that? I don't know. Maybe you do. At least if you copy it, you get that one additional energy. So the risk of using Rogue on a lane with Electro and potentially another ongoing is now decreased. Another card, what else? Mystique, maybe? So my question with Mystique, though, is if you copy Mystique with your Rogue, so you bring over whatever the ongoing effect is, but then you on reveal. So does that mean you on reveal whatever your last ongoing was that you played. I think that's how that's going to work. We'll see. Comment below how you think that one's going to go. And then another obvious one is the Soul Stone, where you're going to head and copy that ongoing, but also be able to draw a card, which I think that's probably currently the best benefit for Rogue in this change. I'm guessing there's also going to be cards coming in the future that might actually play into this. All right, now the biggest change, Spider-Man. I'm sure you've seen this all over. He went from a 5-4 to a 3-5, completely changed what he did. Now he moves to another location and pulls an enemy card from here to there. His animation looks very similar to Silk. So he's going to swing over and then basically Ghost Spider that card over to wherever he goes. RNG, very interesting. Anytime you're going to get a Sinister London or a Bar Sinister, he's going to play in there. You're going to get 5 Spider-Men on the board. He's going to keep swinging and then copy. So you can clear someone's lane out completely if you want in that spot. I'm probably most excited about trying to just straight up throw him into like a Kingpin lane. But again, there's some RNG there. It's going to be interesting. It's sort of Magneto-esque, and sometimes it can help you and sometimes it might not. I'm curious to see how this goes. They talk about how they just wanted Spider-Man to feel a little bit more powerful, a little bit more exciting as far as how big Spider-Man is in the Marvel universe. Now, is this going to do it as far as that goes? To me, maybe. I mean, he obviously was polarizing before, and you don't want Spider-Man to be polarizing. So he's definitely not going to be polarizing anymore. So as far as that goes, I think it's a thumbs up. And he's a 3-cost Surfer. The last card they have here is the Evolved Thing. Previously, you affected a random card with -1. So if there was only one card there, you'd hit it 3 times. Now it's afflict 3 random enemy cards here with 1 power. So that means if there's not 3 cards there, he's only going to go how many ever times there's a card there. So once he hits a card, he's done with that card. Now this is going to be good for A-Bomb, not as good for Thing, which honestly, I'm not opposed to that. I think he needed a little bit of adjustment a while ago. High Evolutionary is not played as much as he used to, but I also think that's primarily because there's just so much fun stuff to play with and people are really diving into that. They talk about Cyclops here a little bit. They think he's in a healthy spot. I think this is a good change. I'm curious to see how it shakes out. They go on to mention a couple bug fixes, mainly with Mirror Dimension and morphing into other mirror dimensions in a loop, primarily due to Legion. A bug that would cause players to get stuck on an old season pass season, and some UI bug type fixes. We're going to finish up with the card changes that we know about. These are the leaks that come out. Now, typically they have a ton of data mine information. I actually plan my week around this for my videos, but for some reason they decided not to have a bunch of patch information. So I don't have really anything to analyze as far as that goes. Maybe stuff will start coming out. If you see anything, please comment below or hit me up on Twitter. Let me know where it is so I can look at either bundles or whatever new stuff that they might have out there. So the biggest changes here for the September season is the first one's Loki. So they increased the power here from 4 to 5. To me, I think that's fine. I don't think it's going to change how I personally feel about the card or how anyone else feels about the card. So that's probably a good thing. Anytime you can increase something like that and it still feels the same, it's probably a good change. The biggest change in my mind was Alioth. So this went from a 5-5 to a 6-5. Previously, we were talking about being able to play him on turn 5 and then potentially absorbing mana on turn 6 and just basically locking everything down. Now he's a 6-cost card. So I think this is a very interesting change. Do I still like him a lot? I do. I don't know if I like him as much as I used to, but I think that it's still really good. He's going to destroy all enemy cards on lane, so it still locks something down. But is he just now a more expensive Juggernaut? Now, the thing is no, because Juggernaut pushes cards into other lanes, which could cost you. So he's a more expensive, better Juggernaut because he's not putting other lanes at risk. Are you still going to be just as excited for him as you were previously? I still really like him. I still really want him. I'm definitely less as excited, obviously, but I think this is probably a smart change because if he was a 5-cost and you could use something else like an Absorbing Man the next turn, this could potentially get a little bit busted. But you can also throw him in a negative deck as well, and that'd be cool. So that's all we got. Shortish, quick video on what the changes were. Let me know what your thoughts are if you see anything out there, the biggest things you like, dislike, etc. Still super excited about everything that's happening with Marvel Snap. So if you want to follow along for any future content, please consider subscribing, hammering down that like button. The Discord's linked in the description below if you want to help financially. We've got the join button on YouTube, Patreons, all this sort of things. We appreciate any sort of support you give the channel. So thank you all for that. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.